Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we will be playing Dark Souls while read some mess up stories. But before we do, let's go over a couple of things. Firstly, I'm on Tik Tok now, so check out, give a follow. Second, the stories in this video will have timestamps and will be linked in the description. And third, if you like videos like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. My 15 years old idiot kid got his GF pregnant on purpose. July 7th, I didn't plan on updating prior to the DNA test, but I can confidently say we do not need it to know the truth. We will likely still do one if Bree sticks to her story. Only I will go through the courts at this point. We have a family lawyer, and he has advised these updates are fine as long as I do not identify anyone by name, location, etc. I had a lot of helpful messages on here, and I do read them all even if I don't reply. One was from a radiographer who suggested that I look at the measurements of the baby on the ultrasound if I am able to get scanned pictures, and then use that to calculate if the baby was 16 weeks on that scan. I have kept that idea in mind if I ever got the chance to see the scan myself. The same Redditor also raised concerns that she only had this one scan at 16 weeks, and there wasn't a 20-week scan again 4 weeks later. All OBs would do a scan at 18 to 22 weeks. The one photo we have seen is a photo of a scan, a profile shot of the baby's face at 16 weeks. And there hasn't been another scan since then. We have been playing it safe and being very careful with how we tread around Bree, not want to cause any arguments. We have no mentioned this to them yet. And if by chance someone tells them via this post, or they know about this post, we don't care. We have nothing to lose since the baby isn't Ollie's. And this is how I know. Bree and Ollie have many mutual friends, but only one other girl, Hannah, who is still friends with both of them from within the group. Hannah believes Ollie is the father, because that's what Bree says, but she had a falling out with Bree this week. I lead to her talking to Ollie, and then she sent Ollie a video that Bree sent her after the ultrasound in April. Prior to this, Bree had told her not to show him, because he wasn't going to be in the baby's life by choice, and all the things she was posting about deadbeat dads. The video shows multiple measurements being done, and I was able to see clearly that the baby measured 19 weeks, and that scan was a 20-week scan. There is no way that baby is Ollie's baby. She is due August 26th. Ollie knows all of this and is doing okay. Very angry, but he has the support he needs. What happens now, we don't know, but we know the truth. June 25th. We all come to a travel arrangement. We paid for Bree to fly out, and her father was paying for the ticket home. Bree was supposed to fly to us this morning and stay for 6 weeks total, flying back sometime in August. Her father's in charge of that flight. She was staying with us over these next few weeks while we do our annual July 4th family vacation for a week, and then a couple more weeks back here at home for the ultrasound/blood test. This was decided together, both families, because Bree and Ollie would like to have some kind of positive experience/memories during the pregnancy, and obviously if baby was as Bree would be taken to her father's, and we would be finished with it all. But she never turned up for her flight. She texted the night before that the doctor did not recommend she should not travel, as she is at risk of preterm labor due to her age, and her severe morning sickness makes her only be able to tolerate pineapple juice. So she is needing to be hospitalized and maybe even deliver early. This is on top of a group photo that included Bree, obviously pregnant in a tight tee, hugging the boy she was dating in her new town, his hand on her belly. It was quickly removed from her story when Ollie asked, "I think it was intentional to make him jealous. I am done. I do not believe her or her parents. I have contacted a lawyer and therapist. I will not be updating again until I know the outcome of the DNA test that I assume will not be done until after the baby is born, since I was told today I cannot force her to have while pregnant. If this baby is Ollie's and my grandchild, I am willing to move Bree here and have her live with us. It has no chance and will continue to ruin my son's life from Alpha." At June 15th, Tage. I spoke to Bree's biological father, who lives in this town, who had no idea about any of this. Before you come for me, there was no known DV or anything. I felt I had run out of options at this point, and I just wanted a way to contact them. Bree's mother then made contact, agreed to the blood test if we paid for it. Ollie and Bree spoke again, and Bree asked to come here for a holiday and have an ultrasound with him to prove dates in person. I agreed to this, but I may not be thinking straight with the stress we have all been under. She says she is 26 weeks, sent him a photo of her belly, which is grown, and told him there is no other option but him to be the father, that the ultrasound had to go by her last period date, and she didn't remember, so she went by her app, and it was a period before. That's why the dates are out on the scan. I asked if she had a physical booklet of pregnancy notes or something, because I know from experience that they have all the confirmed information on them. But she said everything is digital with her doctor, and I did want to push because it's not my medical info. I'm wondering if I do just fly her out here on my own terms, her mother agreed, and do the blood and ultrasound here and put an end to it all. Update again June 3rd. Ollie's friend was able to see her Instagram through an old account, different email. I don't use Instagram enough to know what that means, but it meant they weren't blocked when they reactivated. They found the pregnancy announcement post, and if you scrolled across, it showed a digital copy of the scan Bree sent us as a 16-week scan, apparently the first scan she had at the OB. That is dated 04/04 and clearly says GA19 plus 3 weeks, making an August due date, I believe, or very early September. This would not line up with the due date given to us, but does line up with when her parents told me she was pregnant mid-April. They told us we've had the pregnancy confirmed, and sent a photo of the printed pic, which the date isn't on there. I actually think it may have been cut off the top. I haven't told Ollie this yet, because I want to be sure. I am very concerned about his mental health at the moment, and taking that into consideration. But unless she gave the wrong period dates, and the baby measured only 16 weeks, then it's not possible for her to be our son's. Also added information. Her due date from what we know is September 22nd. She was here from December 20th to January 7th and saw Ollie December 21st and 22nd and January 4th and 5th. Never overnight. I asked Ollie when did this happen, and he said January 4th was the only time, which makes more sense as they were in public gathering otherwise. They were at a mutual friend's birthday that night, but never stayed overnight. I have had 5 kids, and I know the dates are too close to figure out that way. Asterisk Ollie also said that the joke Bree made was to just see if it happens. The pregnancy, because then it's obviously meant to be and he would be able to move. To me, it sounds like she had to plan a lot longer, but I may be biased here. Update number 2, May 30th. Things have gone south even further. At this point, husband and I have been blocked on all social media, and numbers blocked, but the communication with Ollie has continued. Ollie gave us Bree's parents' email address to send an email to, but before using it, I asked him to video chat Bree with me there. And then I could ask Bree to please get her parents, so I can talk to them about this and tell her that if they were going to continue to refuse, and I would be blocking all contact to Ollie and communication until this is resolved. I told Ollie this before the call. At first he flipped out about it, but it was this or I cut communication completely. I do think he understood that it is not okay that her parents are speaking to me through minors, and he said himself he would like us to talk to each other. Bree joined the call and hung up when she saw I too was there. Ollie called back a few times, and she didn't answer. She asked via text why I wanted to talk to her, and Ollie told her that I wanted to speak to her mother, and if we didn't resolve the communication issue, then all contact would be ended until her parents made contact with us, and we make a plan for the next few months, including DNA, and then birth arrangements. Said that if the baby is as we will travel there for birth and first few weeks after. He told her that I personally think it probably is his baby, but I want to be sure and make sure. Everything is done right from the start. Well, Bree blocked him with a reply, and he is totally heartbroken, not eating. Sitting in his room all day and night, not mad at me surprisingly. Very, very sorry for him and to us. Sad about it all and I think regretful. He even asked me if there was a way to undo it for himself. I haven't talked about signing over rights. A male abortion, his father called it. Because I think he's just upset right now. A mutual friend of Bree and Ollie's here in our hometown showed him a few posts she has made in the last 24 hours. Things like, "It's you and me against the world, baby girl," and memes about deadbeat dads. She also announced a pregnancy, which she hadn't done yet, and the post had some single mother facts and quotes. Ollie's friends knew about the situation, and a few were under the impression he had dumped her and the baby, going by the post, but when he explained that what had happened, they all rallied for him in the comments. I said not to. And now she's blocked them, and we can't see what she has posted. This is just a nightmare. I have had a plan personally, not set, but something I wanted to talk to her parents about. But I don't even want to waste my time at this point. Ollie gave us Bree's parents' email address to send an email to with said plan. Basically, Bree does DNA blood test. We will pay the full $1,500 for it. If it is his baby, we can book flights and plan to be there for first month. I'll stay too with Ollie, maybe even the whole family. And then we can also work on a parenting plan and getting into mediation for a judge to sign off on it. Ollie's father and I spill for the first 7 months of his life. So we have done this before and we know the process. But at this point, I think I will just leave it to settle before sending an email. Edit it for update, to answer some question. She is due September around the 22nd. So no, there is no option for abortion. I don't think that or adoption ever was. Ollie admitted it was on purpose last night. Apparently. It was Bree's idea first as a joke that turned into a plan together. Bree's parents will only pass messages through my son, and I have heard this of myself. I stood outside the door and listened to them tell you, mother, insert info below, because I know I will just go off on her about that bullshit still. They are talking shit about me with my kid. They are appalled I would think that way of Bree when I have known her for more than half her life, and do not wish to talk to me. I will not allow him to move out there alone. There are some past issues, such as Bree breaking up with him twice in the last 18 months, because she found someone that she liked more in new town, around August and October last year, same boy. And when it ended, she came back to Ollie. Bree is a nice girl, but her behavior is toxic and has been since a child. Her mother and stepfather are nice, but the relationship is unstable. The house is chaos, 9 children combined, blended family, and 2/3 teens with serious mental health struggles. He would be leaving stability for chaos and no structure. I want a DNA test. I will not budge on that. I am close to cutting his contact totally at this point, because they are only empowering him and reinforcing his behavior towards me and his father. His father is a man of few words, which is unhelpful. So far he's backed everything I have said, and only really chosen to say, "You have the intelligence of a pair." Throw away for obvious reasons. I 30F have a child who is 15M. We'll call him Ollie plus other children aged to 6, 9, and 11. As you can tell by my own age, I was teen parent. I was lucky and we married at 18, still married, healthy relationship. Worked our way out of a very dire situation, graduated, started trade, etc. And we are comfortable, stable in all ways. This information is relevant. Ollie has been friends with this girl. We'll call her Bree since he was 7 years old. Their family used to live in the same city as us and went to the same school, same friendship group. We know her parents and are long-distance friends ourselves. Not close friends, but say hello when the kids on video chat. Had drinks together before. Bree's family moved to a very small town 3 states away due to rental affordability, no secret. We all have talked about the rising cost of everyday life. The cost of living in this city has risen, forcing many locals out. They moved because of that and for better job opportunities 18 months ago. Since then, Ollie has been begging for us to follow, giving us a sales pitch on cheaper housing, better paying jobs, none of which fit either of our professions. The whole works. We have said no, because, well, no, but even if we wanted to, our other children are in school, sports, and have friends here, selling and buying another house, finding work outside of our skill set, or having to learn new skills. Any normal adult would understand this. He does not. Well, fast forward to Christmas. Bree's family come back to our city for a holiday, and the kids met up multiple times with each other. It was my understanding that they were always with the other kids, but obviously not since Bree is pregnant, and I am certain it was on purpose. He has access to condoms. I don't care for opinions on that. My access was restricted, and I had him. He has had sex ed for me, my husband, school. He knows damn well how babies are made, and how not to have one. Ollie now wants me to move to be with her and the baby. It's confirmed. I've talked to her parents. And I said no. I don't feel I need a reason, but he asked. You're 15. We don't have any proof at your child yet. I'm not moving us away from our lives. And you aren't going alone until you're 18. We will do a DNA test. Then we will look at parenting plans. And topped it off with a too bad, too sad. You made your bed. Now you have to sleep in it. He took that back to Bree, and now all communication between me and her parents has been cut. I'm a terrible person. My comments about the DNA test are disgusting, and it's fueling my son's hate for me. He says I am keeping him from the love of his life and future baby, using my own successful relationship as proof it will work out. I actually don't even know if I am right or not. I'm just really upset and feel like my life I worked really hard for has been destroyed. AITA for sleeping naked on top of the covers to teach my flatmates GF a lesson? New to Reddit. Please bear with. So I, 21 guy, live with my childhood best friend, 22, also a guy, and have done for 2 years now, up until last week. Things were perfect between us. However, he recently got a new girlfriend, 23 lady, and she honestly seems absolutely great except for one thing. She seemingly has a complete aversion to knocking. She and I have quite a lot in common, and I actually like spending time with her. However, it bugs the hell out of me when she just barges into my room without knocking first. Now, she's never walked in on me doing anything untoward. I'm usually just chilling on my bed or studying at my desk. However, on at least 7 separate occasions now, she's done it first thing in the morning to ask if I want coffee. I sleep naked. Every time prior to the last one, I've been under the covers and she hasn't seen anything. I always point out that she could have, and she just giggles and says, "But I didn't," when she stayed over last week. In order to make my point, I intentionally slept on top of the covers. Sure enough, she barges in at 7 a.m., begins to ask if I want coffee, and sees my you-know-what. She immediately backed out of the room and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My mate later pulled me aside and said I was bang out of order, accused me of deliberately exposing myself, and pointed out that I'd threatened to do it before. I literally just said, "Okay, but what if I had no covers and you saw everything before?" They're now framing this to others that I'm some sick creep who intentionally got naked and lay in wait of her, because that's how I get my rocks off. And I'm kind of seeing how it came off that way. AITA for doing this? AITA for calling my SIL a racist after she compared my cooking to making Kung Pao chicken? TLDR at bottom. For context, I've been married to my wife for 10 years, and we're a mixed-race couple. I'm Asian and she's Caucasian. I've gotten along with her family, MIL, BL, SIL. But I always felt like her FIL and other SIL, Sarah, never liked me. I'm a professionally trained chef with 15 plus years of experience, and I work at a high-end Chinese restaurant, a spin-off of a popular one in Beijing, in a large U.S. city. My crew and I have won several awards, and I've been explicitly told I'll be the next executive chef. Sarah is also a professionally trained chef and works at a popular upscale French restaurant in the city. She constantly brags about it and, no joke, compares herself out loud to Ramsay and Bourdain. Whenever I'm at my MIL and FIL's house and helping out in the kitchen, Sarah is always criticizing everything I do. Whether it's chopping, braising, marinating, etc., she always puts in with comments like, "I think you should actually do X like this." I've been patient for my wife and sidestepping those comments, saying things like, "Thanks, but I think I'll stick to the way I do it." Things came to a head 2 weeks ago when my wife, FIL MIL, and I were in her parents' kitchen prepping dinner for my MIL's birthday. We were running a bit behind, so things were heated, which I kind of liked because it reminded me of work. And that's when Sarah walked in. She took one look at what I was doing, scoffed, and said something like, "Oh, wow. Okay, so that's not the right way of doing things." It hit a nerve, and I pretty sternly told her to stop criticizing my cooking, and that I'm also a chef like her. She laughed and said, making Kung Pao chicken at some Chinese restaurant doesn't count. The kitchen went silent. FIL snorted/chuckled, and my MIL yelled, "Sarah, what is wrong with you?" I stopped what I was doing, swore at her, and called her a racist piece of shit, apologized to my MIL for not being able to stay, and left for home with my wife. Apparently, this caused a massive fight after we left, with my MIL/BIL/other SIL taking my side, and my FIL/Sarah saying it was a joke but kind of true, and that I was being too sensitive. The extended family somehow got wind of this, and now everyone is arguing and taking sides, with my wife even getting texts from some of her cousins apologizing for Sarah's behavior. Despite being on my side, my wife is begging me to apologize so that the fighting will stop, but I refuse because fuck Sarah and her blatant racism. Ida? TLDR. I'm a chef working at upscale Chinese resto. My SIL is a chef at upscale French resto. She's critical of my cooking skills and has now called it making Kung Pao chicken at a Chinese restaurant. Family at war, wife begging me to apologize. What do... Edit. My wife has also informed me that now Sarah may be in trouble at work, and she's blaming me for it. Apparently one of her co-workers heard her rant about what happened and reported it to management. Edit. To clarify, Sarah is blaming me, though my wife is partly blaming me. Edit 2/update. So it looks like one of my wife's cousins found this post and put it on Sarah's Facebook while going, "This is you right." Her FB friends are starting to comment with things like, "If this is you, Sarah, then I'm disappointed." I think Sarah is still at work. Shit might be hitting the fan soon. And now my wife is pissed too. We'll try to update, but might have to delete post if things go nuclear. Edit 3/update 2. Was considering removing, but I just got a voicemail from my FIL that my presence was only being tolerated up until this point and threatened a world of hurt if I didn't delete this post. Officially going to keep this post up, and if you're still reading this, Doug, I'm very disappointed in you. You're better than this. We'll also continue to update, and thanks again for all your support, folks. Edit 4/update 3. Lots of stuff just went down. My wife got a call from SAL. From wife's paraphrasing. Sarah started screaming/cry at her the moment my wife picked up and said that she just got demoted because of her Asian slur husband. Apparently some of her co-workers have her on FB and showed the post to management, which combined with her earlier rant, double whammied her back to being a line cook, and now she might get fired. My wife told her go fuck herself and is now solidly on my side after taking the verbal abuse from Sarah and reading some of the comments here. My wife is still the opposite of happy, though. Wife called MIL and asked her WTF was going on with FIL. MIL was confused, so my wife played back the voicemail I had on my phone. And apparently my MIL literally just walked away from the phone without hanging up and started screaming at FIL. Facebook post has now devolved into a clusterfuck flame war with family and friends jumping in. Suffice to say, it has officially gone nuclear. I think I'm going to have to call this a day. We'll make an update post when the dust settles. Thanks again, folks. Edit 5/update 4. Turns out I'm not allowed to post an update post for some reason. No, you provided all your updates in the original post with your many, many edits. You can edit this in, but we will not be allowing a standalone update on this. I'd like to clarify that I got my wife and MIL's permissions to post this update, out respect for them and their privacy. Suffice to say, it's been kind of nuts this past week. My wife and I had to turn off social media for a bit because of the shitstorm caused by her cousin putting my last post on Sarah's Facebook page. Some people even tried to call the restaurant I work at to get me fired as retribution, but luckily everyone there is 100% on my side. Or as my boss put, fuck Sarah, fuck those racists, fuck them so goddamn much. I guess it didn't help them that half the calls involved threats, screaming, and more racial slurs. We didn't hear any updates from her family, even though we assumed the shit met fan after MIL found out about FIL's threatening voicemail. Still disappointed in you, Doug. But that changed on Sunday night, when MIL suddenly showed up at our door with overnight bags. After we took a moment to help unpack and calm down, she spilled the beans on everything. FIL, aka Doug. Apparently my MIL and FIL were already having trouble in their marriage, and it was only made worse with certain 2016 presidential election. She's a Dem, and he had apparently gone more far-right since then. Seems that a line was crossed with the Kung Pao incident and his voicemail. When he refused to apologize for anything, typical Doug, she asked for a divorce, and he went berserk. She didn't feel safe there, so that's when she came over, other BIL, and SIL live out of town. Extended family, aka the Great FB War of 2021. You may have been able to tell already, but the extended family was largely arguing/fighting/divided along political lines for a few years now, and my cousin's FB post was likely just a light to set off the powder keg. According to my MIL, the fallout has allegedly already led to some breakups, excommunication of some family members, and even an argument that ended with police involvement. Haven't verified this myself, though. Sarah Slattersile, according to my MIL, Sarah came over to her place on Friday. The writing was on the wall, and she was basically forced to quit. Despite her trying to start from scratch as a line cook, the entire staff turned against her. Nothing was coming back from the dish pit for her, and she was getting the cold shoulder. She's a great chef, I will admit this is true, but they took no chances since it turns out shit you not. They're partly owned by a Chinese investment company. Found this hard to believe and didn't want to add this detail, but it turned out to be true after some research. Won't say any further for privacy. Word also got around in the local industry, and Sarah is essentially blacklisted from high-end establishments. She's now considering selling her home and moving to find work. As much as I don't like her and found her behavior horrifying, I didn't intend for this to happen, so I've reached out to some buds in other states to see if they had any openings. Whether or not she wants to take Itis up to her. And no, she has not apologized for anything either, but I still want to be a decent person to her. It sure as hell doesn't feel like a happy ending. Perhaps bittersweet justice. But that's all I can give you. Thank you all for your support and for reading. I put the trash my co-worker throws on the ground in her lunchbox. I work overnight outside. My job is easy and relaxing. I watch a lot of YouTube. Of course it can't be completely perfect, and that's why my co-worker, Mary, sucks. Mary looks 74, but is 54. She never really took care of herself and smokes multiple packs a day. Since we work around diesel and CNG fuels, she's unable to smoke on the job, so she chews multiple sticks of nicotine gum in the most obnoxious way. When she tosses a foil, she misses the bin 90% of the time, mostly because she cannot account for wind speed. And if there's no bin nearby, she drops at her feet. She also will get multiple water bottles throughout the shift and take a few sips before forgetting about it and getting another one 30 minutes later. I usually find 12 to 16 all around our work area that are, at most, half empty. Mary is lazy, rude, and uses her appearance of old age to get sympathy from our supervisor, so she usually never has to come back from first break until after lunch. Needless to say, I don't like her. Since March, I've been picking up her little gum foils and go to the fridge and putting the foil in her lunchbox. The water bottles won't fit, so I just surround her lunchbox with them. The first few times, she seemed confused when she would open up to find 3 or 4 of her gum foils on top of her Tupperware and would drop them right in front of the fridge. I would place them back inside after lunch. The reason I'm confessing is because she keeps her lunchbox in her car now. I gaslit my college library out of late fees by returning my own books. Back in college in the 2000s, I checked out a bunch of books for a major research project. This was before online sources counted. So proper citations were key. Life got hectic, and I completely forgot to return them until I got a late fee notice at the end of the semester. It was something like 25 cents per book per day, and I had at least 10 books overdue for a month. I didn't have the money, and unpaid fines meant my grades/transcript would be blocked. Instead of paying, I snuck the books back onto the shelves myself. The next day, I called the library to question the overdue notice. After a short hold, the librarian apologized. It turned out all the books were on the shelves. My fines were erased, and I got my transcript. My brother-in-law has seen my boobs, and we both just pretend it never happened, LOL. When my husband and I first met on a dating app, we messaged for a couple of days before meeting in person and going on our first date. Some of these messages included pictures of my boobs, LMAO, though this was very unlike me. Still not sure what compelled me, like just completely bare, straight-on boob pic. The pictures were pretty good, I admit. Well, he was at his brother's house hanging out during this time, and he and his brother are super close. When he got this one picture, apparently he was so taken aback, he had to show his brother. I think his words were, "Holy shit, I just started talking to this girl. Look at her rack." And his brother was like, whoa. Whatever, it was short-lived. He obviously didn't know that we would eventually get married. I guess they just like to brag to each other or something faced with tears of joy. My husband is completely open with me, so he did tell me this at some point, now that it's been years of us together. It's just funny to know that my brother-in-law has seen my boobs. Obviously, it has never been brought up and won't be. But I don't even know how to feel about it, LMAO. Awkward. I'm not 100% sure I know my brother's real name, and at this point it's a bit too late to ask. My 29M brother's 36M name is David. At least that's the name I know him by, and that's what everyone calls him, including our parents. The problem is, David isn't a very Fijian Indian name, and he's Fijian Indian. Technically, he's my half-brother, but we grew up together, and he considers my biological dad to be his only dad, too. So me, he's just my brother. But my dad is English and fairly traditional. He gave me a very English name. But David was born in Fiji long, before my mother ever met my dad. All my family on my mom's side have Fijian Indian names. It's only me and my brother that don't. For me, it makes sense because I was named by my dad, but my brother's name doesn't make sense. When my mom and dad married and moved to NZ, David was about 5 and adapted to the local culture and even forgot how to speak Hindi after a couple years, mostly from pressure from my dad, making him speak English only. So it occurred to me a few years ago that it's possible he was born with an entirely different name that I've never heard, and that he just changed his name, willingly or not. Sometime after moving to NZ, but before I was old enough to know it, and it has been far too long now for me to ask. Throwaway account, as this contains a few too many personal details. Edit. David is his legal name. I've seen documents with it. I'm just not sure if he legally changed it. Edit 2. Obviously, I will ask him eventually. I'm being a little overdramatic and saying it's too late to ask. But definitely is at least a little awkward LOL. I've lost everything, but I'm not giving up just yet. Hi, I'm Bree, 20 years old, and I feel like I've hit rock bottom. Since November 2024, my life has spiraled out of control. I've lost everything: my home, my family, and the stability I once had. The only person left in my corner was my boyfriend, or at least I thought he was. But even he's gone now. I lost him over friendly messages I exchanged with someone of the opposite gender. There was no flirting, and the person knew about my relationship. My boyfriend even saw me post pictures of us on social media, but it didn't matter to him. He ended things, accusing me of being too friendly, even though he was constantly interacting with his exes or other people from his past. I stayed through it all, but this time it was too much for him to handle. And now here I am, homeless. I've been living that way since November 2024, and he only took me in for a short time. Honestly, it felt like he was doing me a favor, like I was some stray dog. I felt lost and broken for so long, and I thought I couldn't take it anymore. But I've decided to keep moving forward. I'm on my way to Texas now. I packed up what I had left from St. Louis, and I still have 11 hours to go. A kind Redditor and their family offered me a place to stay, and I'm beyond grateful. Maybe this move is my chance to start over, meet new people, and rebuild my life from scratch. I'll be honest, I've had dark moments. I thought about giving up, but I just couldn't follow through. I know there's more for me, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. I'm thankful for support and encouragement I've gotten from strangers who reminded me that life can get better, even when it feels impossible. So, here I am, broken but not defeated. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm holding on to hope. This move could be the beginning of something new, something I need. I'm just trying to find my peace and my happiness again. Thank you to everyone who's reached out and shown me kindness. You've no idea how much it means. I haven't been able to afford groceries because I have no self-control. I, 21M, love my husband, 25M, like crazy. He is currently on a rough deployment and will be medically retiring due to serious injury at the end of the year. Our entire marriage and relationship has been long distance. I am his first relationship, and he's the first man that I've ever actually had feelings for and identified as straight before meeting him. Prior to our relationship, I was in a seriously abusive one, and also come from a family of abuse as well. This is the first time that I've ever felt loved in my life, and I have a really hard time holding myself back from spoiling him. I always get him little surprises, and sometimes will even drain my account doing so. Since his deployment began, I got very obsessed with the idea of giving him a big surprise of all his favorite things in his office that I'm also building for where he gets back. I haven't had any groceries for probably 2 months because I can't stop myself from buying things for him. I bought every single comic book that he likes, Batman ones, all first print. I never knew anything about comic books before this, and it's been pretty costly. I also bought him a bunch of other stuff that aligns with his interests. I can't stop myself from buying things. I can never buy myself anything, even if I have the money. I just love him so much and keep thinking about how happy he's going to be when he sees everything I've done for him. He treats me very well and has made such an impact on me that I'm always really excited to do things for him, especially because both of us have had really rough lives and have never had any kind of stability. Both of us come from rough families, and I'm his first relationship. He was always gay, but never wanted to be with anyone aside from me. My power was turned off a few days ago because I didn't pay my bulls, and I had to rush to get them laid and back on. I know it's a big problem, but I can't help myself.